On today's Club 73 podcast, we have another great show. We have to start our HEHS updates, and we have a lot of rumors flying around about that we have to clear up. We have another great interview for everybody, a reoccurring guest with Coach Wolbecker on his podcast, social studies teacher and head boys basketball coach, Mr. Luke Yanule. And then we will finish up our show with our weekly shout-outs and then send you guys on your merry way. Coach Wolbecker, you ready, buddy?
I think it's time.
Let's do it. Welcome to the Club 73 podcast. Today is Tuesday, October 27th. My name is Coach Godowski, and I am here with the big guy, my co-host, Coach Andrew Wolbecker. And this is the podcast where we talk everything Hoffman Estates High School. And to start off our show for this week, the Club 73 podcast is getting sued.
Allegedly. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about that. Allegedly. Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. There's a lot of rumors flying around. It is our first lawsuit that we've had. So we're just kind of, making the news left and right.
Yeah.
And it's one of our own, which is unfortunate. It's one of our own that we thought was a near and dear friend of ours. And I still consider him a friend. But the head girls basketball coach, Brad Reibel, is threatening to sue us for slandering his name last week on last episode.
Yeah, I can't believe that. I mean, we give the guy a couple shout outs, we promote his program, and boom, we get hit with it.
We get hit with a lawsuit threat.
Unbelievable.
But all jokes aside, Coach Reibel, you're the man. You're just not
I like
very
that
good
guy.
at
Oh. Yikes.
But yes, so that was the first update. We'll have, an update on that next week. Hopefully things subside and Coach Reibel comes to his senses.
Or there's more lawsuits brought against us. Either way, guess what?
Yeah.
We're going to be here.
Bring it, Reibel. We ain't scared of you.
Great guy.
And you know what? I'm going to show up to Friday basketball, and I'm going to take him left and show him how it's done.
There you go.
That was good. That was a fun time we had with him this week. But besides that, more importantly, we started hybrid learning this week. It was we started yesterday, Monday, and it was awesome. It was great having kids back in here. A little weird, to be honest, but at the same time, seeing kids' faces and seeing teachers teach students. I was walking by a couple classes because yesterday was my day. I was the dean. It was awesome. It was so cool to see. I don't know what your thoughts are, Coach Wolbecker, but
no, I mean, yeah, just walk around the halls, seeing the kids, and I mean, them seeing you as well. And I could just tell it was special for them. It was, emotional. It's their first time back since March 13th or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with everything that's going on, all jokes aside, everything, good, bad, I think it was an awesome day for, not just our school, but, our district, just to get the kids back in. So.
Yeah. And it was honestly another, technically the first day of in-person school, and it snowed.
Yes.
When will we ever be able to say that again?
That is true. Probably never. And if it does happen, then we're probably going to be talking about some other things. But
yes. But yeah, again, awesome. Great job by everybody here at the school, from administration to teachers, custodial staff, the cafeteria workers. It was awesome. And the best part too was that the students were so receptive to the safety procedures and protocols that we had in place. Since from walking into the building, they all had their green check marks, their surveys answered, and then during passing periods, those high traffic times, they were awesome. So
They were. And a special shout out to the parents as well, because I know this has been a very trying time for many families, and everything hasn't gone planned accordingly, but with their patience and our help, and they're helping us out. So I appreciate a lot of the parents as well.
It takes a full team effort. And then speaking of teams,
this is the last week for contact days. So I know we've been harping on it the last couple weeks, but if you do want to participate in a couple of contact days before they shut down at the end of this week, contact the coaches, contact the AD office, contact your counselors. We can get you set up. It might be 1 or 2 days left in your specific sport or activity, but get on out. Get to know some people. If you're an incoming freshman, and we're going to start bringing more and more kids back in the building, get to know, make some friends, get to know the teachers, your coaches, staff members, anything. So come on out, and we'd love to have you.
Yeah, and a lot of fall sports ended last week or the last couple weeks too. So if you are interested in trying something new out this last week with any of the sports, because there's still a lot of sports to be had this school year. Like Coach Wilbecker said, get in contact with the head coach.
Absolutely.
But all right, that is our updates, our weekly updates on hybrid learning and contact days, and we'll see what else we have in play for next week. But now it is time for our big interview of the week with the ever so, like we call him the mayor of Hoffman. We say it a couple times in the interview.
Oh yeah.
Social studies teacher and head boys basketball coach, Mr. Luke Yanule. Here he is, everyone. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you asked and you shall receive. We got a big time guest on our show. We got the one, the only, the Mr. Kia Kaha King himself, social studies teacher and head boys basketball coach, Mr. Luke Yanule. Coach Yanule, how are we doing today?
I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm fantastic. And I also want to say welcome for the Hawk Screech, by the way.
Hey, that's how we introduce every guest. From segment to segment, we use that Hawk Screech. It sounds like Johnny Ulrich on a Friday night after the Hawks get a big first down.
Well, I don't want to steal Johnny Ulrich's thunder, but I gave him that Hawk call. That was the idea that came from St. Xavier. They do the Cougar Roar at St. Xavier, and I'm like, we need a Hawk call.
Oh,
now the problem is hope you fix that mic. The problem
I got it. We're good, dude.
Coach Ulrich, I love him to death, and he loves that Hawk Screech to death. So anytime there's a first down, you're gonna get 16 screeches.
Yeah, and your other name is the mayor. And speaking of mayors, Mayor Jacobson over at Conant, his wife makes fun of the Hawk Screech noise every single time we play Conant. So shout out,
disparaging. I can't say anything disparaging about Mrs. Jacobson except for maybe her choice of men, but that's a whole nother podcast. That's a season of podcasts on him.
Exactly.
I learned all my mayoral skills from him.
All right. Well, before this interview gets off the rails, which I'm sure it will be at the end, but let's get right into our interview questions. So my first question to you, all right, is how does a Notre Dame Fighting Don find his way to Hoffman Estates High School?
Well, I was working there. I went to Notre Dame High School in Niles, and then I started coaching there as soon as I graduated high school. And then I got my job there. I was assistant director of enrollment, a teacher, and a coach. And my last year there, my head coach was retiring, Denny Zalasko, from basketball, not from work. And,
Legend, Denny Zalasko.
Yeah, he's on our staff now. He's the best. And we were all set up for me to take the job over. The athletic director wanted me there, and the principal wanted me, but the powers that be had other plans. And at the time, it was really tough. It was a really, really tough time because that was my dream job. But everything happens for a reason. And now I use that very lesson with my students and players because kind of like you mentioned with Coach Pettit last week, like I thought I was going to be at Notre Dame forever. And then it turns out the best thing never happened to never happen to me, and end up here at Hoffman Estates. So I try to use that with my kids, like when they have their dream set on something, they get that school of choice, or not making that team, or, you know, that person didn't say yes to the homecoming dance. Sometimes it works out more than you know. So yeah, I ended up, Denny found me an interview, a job with Bob Williams at Schaumburg. And that first time I met Bob Williams, I met Jim Sullivan, and the domino started falling. And I got a job at Schaumburg High School for 4 years, had a cup of coffee at Conan for a semester. And then I got the fortune enough to get the offer of the job here. And nothing's been the same since.
I'll tell you what, ever since I met you, my life hasn't been the same. So thanks for coming on over.
You're welcome. For you, the world. You know?
You know, you were probably one of the first people or persons I met here at Hoffman 7 years ago. Yeah, and I think it was introduced to me that this is the mayor of Hoffman Estates High School. And so I'm like, I'm going to have to get to know this guy pretty well.
Well, it's a nice title. I think Mr. Wolbecker is probably like the actual mayor of Hoffman Estates community, you know. And then it doesn't mean. How about like Godowski is like the senator of 211? You know, I mean, if I could be the mayor, I mean, I go no matter where I go. Hey, this Kona person, this Schaumburg person, this Palatine person, this friend, like everyone knows Godowski, everyone knows Wolbes. You know.
I will say, I mean, before I met you, out in the community, I'm just walking around and they start talking about this mayor of Hoffman Estates, and I'm not going to lie, I was a little intimidated. I had to get down to the nitty-gritty to see who it was, and, of course, it's you. So, I mean, not a better person to take over. So,
well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And, segue into our next question. Speaking of dream jobs, tell me a little bit about the Paulina Meat Market, dude.
So the first thing that is,
I believe it's pronounced Paulina.
It is Paulina Market. So during the pandemic, the owner of the Paulina Market is a friend. His son, I coach his son, and his son's actually a good friend of mine as well. And I coach his son at Notre Dame High School, and that's Joe. I think Joe just turned 36 or 35. And they called me, and they're like, "We need some help. We need some work." And I was like, "Well, I got school." And like, "What have you done?" I'm like, 2:45, 3. I'm like, "Well, we're open, curbside, this and that, so stop in." I would go there every year, once a year, just to hang out and, learn a thing or two about cooking and meat and that kind of thing. And so I've stayed on. So I'm going there the weekends. It's around since 1949. They run a great business. It's very popular with the Blackhawks and Cubs, and a lot of celebs. A lot of people come and stop in. It's a great little market in the city at Addison and Lincoln, technically Lincoln and Cornelia, if you want to stop by. They're practicing all the safe protocols and social distancing and, following all the city's ordinances and such. But no, it's been a slice, if I may.
Oh,
right.
Oh.
There we go.
And what is your favorite cut, slice, or your favorite? What's your favorite job there?
Well, the job, that changes every day whenever I go in, and I do serve the customers, but I'm thinking the best thing that there's probably the strip steak. The strip steak's pretty good. They go on. I go on and on about, all the options, but it's just nice working with good people. It's a good organization. It's really well led, and they're fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's fun to learn something new, cooking something different every day, and trying something new every weekend. So it's been fun. So it's nice to have good people to lean on. So Joe and Bill have really treated me well. I got to give them credit. It's a family business. John and Jackie and all of them, they're really good. I'm looking forward to the Paulina Part 2, which would be like Wolbecker's. Meat. You know what I mean? They're like 59 and Higgins.
Yeah. Hey, come on down. Not at all.
Like German sauerkraut and
that baseball bat salami. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
That'd be awesome.
Now we're talking.
All the Hoffman baseball players are working there. Think about it.
Slicing and dicing, baby.
And you've had us over a couple times to grill some of their meats and all that, and it is the real deal. I'll give you that. Definitely has nothing to do with the cook or the person grilling it, but it's some good stuff.
Yeah, I just make the environment a lot friendlier and better looking. So
just make sure you have the stadium brats, would you?
Take it easy. Unbelievable. You mess up one time.
All right, switching back gears to the teaching aspect and what we have coming up next week, next Tuesday, big day, election day.
It's election. I was thinking World Series. I was thinking Game 7.
No, yeah, this is a podcast about everything, just not sports.
Yes.
So again, switching gears, we said that earlier. You are a social studies teacher, more specifically a U.S. history teacher. So my question to you is, especially during these times, and both the election coming up, how do you teach those classes? Do you teach them differently on an election year? Not so much this election, but the past couple of years or the past elections. Like, what's your philosophy on it?
Well, I think anytime you can make history more relevant to kids, it's something that they'll kind of sink the hooks into a little bit deeper. They're interested. I think this election is obviously kind of a polarizing one, and people are interested. They're obviously breaking records already with early voting, and the kids are in tune with it. I give our students a lot of credit. They're relatively aware for a high school kid of what's going on. A lot of it, what might or may not happen, affects their families directly. So anytime you can make it relevant helps. And for example, today we talked about the election of 1800, the revolution of transferring power from one party to another. And, obviously nonpartisan, but it's interesting when, President Trump talks about he's not going to really commit if he's going to transfer peaceful or not, regardless of where you stand on that. It's important that they understand that the election of 1800 was important for that reason, that the world was watching, and, Jefferson took power from Adams, and Adams let it happen. And that had never happened really before, especially in democracy. So it's kind of relevant to now. So the kids get more interested in that. And then it kind of leads into today. We talked about Marbury versus Madison and the judges and judicial review. And obviously with, Amy Coney Barrett, obviously getting sworn in today, it's very relevant to them. So the light goes on, and it's a little bit tougher to see on a Zoom screen, but the light does go on, and they start asking different kinds of questions. And today we talked about 2016 a little bit, and we went back and talked about, platforms and why this will matter even more to them as they get older, when they actually start paying their own taxes and when things start affecting them more directly. So the conversation is different because it's so fresh, and you want to run with that. And anything, again, they make them more interested in history or class. And they're normally pretty interested, but this just adds another layer to it, which makes it more fascinating.
Yeah, and I've had the pleasure of teaching the co-taught survey the last 2 years with the legend Bill Scully, and then now with Coach Sean Armstrong. And it is very interesting to see our kids' takes, and that they are very aware of what's going on. And today we were talking about the political parties and, what sides, believe in certain topics and all that kind of stuff. So it is cool to see. And like you said, see that light bulb go on in our kids' heads. And, the conversations that we had. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I know we talked about it a little bit last night, EG, but I'm just obsessed with everything going on. And I think the kids are as well. And they're, they want to be a part of something. So I think that's really cool.
Well, and one of the pros maybe of this whole situation is they have a little bit more time. They could, kind of get into a little bit more on Instagram or Twitter or whatever they get their news from, or just Apple News, whatever feed they have. They can watch a little bit more TV, they can get into it. So it is something that it's funny how it all kind of comes together, sometimes with this situation. And now that people have a lot more time, people are a lot more involved and interested, obviously with the pandemic as well.
Yep. Very true. Very true. And a deep dive a little deeper into some more politics. Let's talk about that golf game of yours.
Okay. The courses are designed against me. I'm a left-handed golfer, so it's unfair after that.
I mean, the last time we all played together over the summer, you were hitting fairways left and right.
The problem was they were to the left and to the right. It was not the fairway in front of me. That was the problem.
Yeah, behind trees in the water, but that's fine. I mean, either way.
We're having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun. EG, we were, climbing trees and, going into the clubhouse, asking to get on the roof, but that's besides the point. But,
sure.
I know a few more weeks here and your contact days, and I don't know, maybe we can sneak in one more round before, more snow hits. What do you think?
You know what? I hope so, because based on my record this summer, I don't think I ever lost in any of my twosomes. I think we're undefeated. Other people shall remain nameless who didn't win. They're at other schools, and this is the Hoffman podcast, Club 73 podcast, not the Club 71 or whatever it is. But it's nice the fact that when you sometimes you carry your team, sometimes a teammate picks you up, and then when other people buy you dinner, it's even better when there's a steak on there from a really nice restaurant. That also helps. So I will get better.
Let's
I will
get
improve.
it all in the open, okay? And we told them we would give them a shout out on this podcast to our partners this summer in golf with Miss Joanne Pankratz and Allie Bauk. It was a fair match all summer. We went back and forth. We had some heated battles, but I'm not gonna say it, but
I'll say it. I helped out one night because I substituted and we won. I mean, I don't know what there is to say.
I don't know. Yeah, there's like this unspoken thing about people who didn't win the game this summer, but we don't want to go there.
I put all the blame on myself. Okay,
I'll tell you what though. If I can add this quick story, and like the first time I coached with Coach Wolbecker, the first time I golfed with him, and he stepped up to the tee and he hit a ball 86 yards, I think, behind him. I think the ball actually curved behind him. I'm like, wow, he's really
It was
bad.
windy. It was totally windy that day.
He's one of them. He's like really, really bad. Like he just can't golf, but he's like baseball stud, but can't hit a golf ball. By hole 3, when he's basically hitting the green, on a par 4, I was like, okay, now he's been sandbagging. I get it. Okay. And then I ended up basically spending my day with, what's his name? Beauchambeau, the guy, the ripped golfer with Tiger Woods. I'm like,
Bryson DeChambeau, baby.
Because don't get me started on Coach Godowski's mid-range game, because that's a whole other story.
All right, the mid-range game is phenomenal.
Okay, well, I'll see what Jacobson has to say about that.
And for the record, Coach Wolbecker cheats and puts chapstick on his driver. That's why it goes.
Okay, that's true. Way. I've also witnessed
that.
I corroborate that statement.
And that's what I was alluding to earlier when I took the blame on myself, because that's what a true leader does. But Coach Wolbecker is on the record. He is a cheater.
Wow. Hey, don't dwell on the past. Find things to build for the future, my man.
Oh man, love it. I feel like we're on the golf course right there.
Yeah. Well, Coach Yanule, thank you so much for joining us. We had a blast. Actually, wait, and real quick, I need to ask you a question.
Okay.
Oh.
And it was just a hot topic. It was a hot topic last episode.
Hot take. There you go.
Hot take. All right.
Coach Pettit, I could talk for hours about Coach Pettit.
Yeah, I know. So exactly, that's why I'm not going to ask about her.
Okay.
I'm going to ask about her counterpart again, because it is a big, running thing. No.
Coach Anselmo?
The head
Coach
girls
Wolanski.
basketball coach.
Oh, that is Coach Wolanski.
Oh yeah,
the head girls coach.
The other guy
for the varsity.
Mr. Ribel.
Oh, Brad. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. I forgot.
Wow.
I've seen him play.
He's a great guy.
I've seen him play, and he really can't go left. Do you know this? Like he struggles. It's unbelievable. Like I don't know. And I heard things. I've only watched him play a couple times.
So again, and we talked about at the beginning of the show, Coach Ribel is on the record. He is going to sue the Club 73 podcast for slandering his name. So
he's a great person.
Great person, but we're just talking facts about his basketball game.
Well, I tell you this, as a basketball coach, he's been phenomenal for our program. He's a great person. He works exceptionally hard. He's been a great addition to our team. It's really been fun working with him. We've joined our feeder organizations together. That's all his call. He's setting up a nonprofit for it. I mean, he's taken the lead in a lot of things, and he's been really great to work with. As a player, I got problems, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to get demoted. I don't know if he has that power over me, but I understand that Coach Pettit might be coaching freshman B, assistant, volunteer. Like, I don't know what happened, but I just want to say that, I hopefully get to play my darts one day, because I heard that that's a kind of an issue as well. So, maybe we do like a Club 73 dart tournament. We raise some money for the podcast.
Okay.
So maybe, golf and darts. I don't know, but I could imagine he's like on the golf course.
Oh yeah. Like him and I have talked about that too. And again, I told him any day he wants to go out and and play 18, I'm in. But again, for the record and for legal purposes, I want to reiterate what you said, that he is doing a great job. I hope you hear that, Coach Reibel.
Yeah, I mean, I Coach Reibel, knowing him, that positivity will kind of it'll temper him a little bit, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Coach Pettit, I give her a lot of credit to have that kind of courage, the moral courage, to come on the Club 73 podcast and speak her mind that way. I almost rolled my car off the road when she started talking.
It was impressive.
And by the way, for, Coach Pettit, go Terps. I know she's really pulling for the Maryland team last weekend. So she's a big Maryland fan. So
it's good to have Big Ten football back on. But again, Coach Yanule, again, thank you for coming on our show. Thank you for everything you do for Hoffman and our students. You truly are the mayor. You truly are loved. And thanks for everything you do, buddy.
Well, thanks for the Club 73 podcast. It's nice to be back with Coach Wilbecker.
Hey, it is. It is true.
Shout out to Coach Fetterman for the Wolves and Fet podcast. Rest in peace. But it's nice to be back. And Coach Godowski, you're doing a great job on the podcast.
Thanks, buddy.
Coach Wilbecker, real quick, before we end up, just real quick, can I get a prediction for tonight?
Yeah.
Game 6.
I got Dodgers by a lot. I think they're going to turn it on tonight.
9-2?
10+ runs. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to take the Rays tonight then.
Okay.
Gentleman's bet. I'll take the Rays.
Okay, take the Rays. Hey, Game 7 would be awesome, but I think the Dodgers are
closer than the experts think.
Yes. All right.
All right, guys. Go Hawks.
All right, Coach. We'll see you. Go Hawks.
Thank you.
Okay, 73ers, let's get into our shout-outs. Our first Club 73 podcast shout-out of the week goes to, you guessed it, the one and only Miss Brooklyn Fiscone, sectional champion at Elk Grove High School this weekend. And again, breaks her personal record for probably the 25th time and school record. So proud of you, Brooklyn. Sectional champion. And then she was telling me that since there is no state series, they take that video of her sectional dives, which was obviously phenomenal. And they will determine a state champion through that. So good luck with that. And again, and we said at the beginning of the show, a lot of fall sports are ending. I get an email from Brooklyn yesterday saying, hey, I'm done with swimming and diving. Can I come to girls lacrosse contact days last week? So again, just kind of shows the kind of competitor that she is. You're awesome, kid. We're proud of you.
Absolutely. And then the next shout out, boys cross country qualified for sectionals. So that's awesome. I know we've been hosting sectionals here at Hoffman, so good luck to them. And then last but not least, last shout out, Junior Val Daniel. She is an MSL Girls Cross Country Conference medalist and sectional qualifier. So congrats to you on that accomplishment.
Yeah, and shout out to Coach Imes and the girls cross country. I went to it on last Saturday. A couple of my lacrosse girls run. Shout out Jocelyn Santos and Yessi Fuentes. But it's very exciting, those cross country meets. You think they're just running, which they are, but it's very they are locked in. You can see them. The fans that were there were going nuts. It gets pretty heated.
Yeah, because we usually don't host those meets, so those are usually on off campus, either like forest reserves or bigger fields. But during our contact days for baseball, they are running right along our outfield fence, and I got locked in a few times during practice, and I was like, whoa, I like this. This is intense.
And I'm close with Coach Imes. He's a special ed teacher as well. And like I said, a lot of our girls a lot of my lacrosse girls play or run cross country. And at the beginning of the season, I don't want to say he was disappointed that they couldn't do it at like Bussy Woods, but it was something new. But that turned into something that it was very special to that group, like hosting events at Hoffman in their own backyard. And you can kind of see that, I guess they took ownership, and he said it was very, very special to see his group kind of take ownership with that.
Yeah, and I think it was cool because that backfield, backs up to all those houses on that street. And there were multiple times where a lot of those people living there, obviously we don't host those very often, but they wanted to see what's going on.
Exactly. We never have.
Yeah.
We never have hosted those.
Yeah. And I could see more and more people just, standing in their backyards and cheering them on. And I thought that was cool because, sometimes those people don't get to see that stuff. So.
Yeah. And my guess is that we probably never will host it again.
True.
Hopefully next year we can get back to our normal seasons with cross country. So again, it was a special season for both boys and girls cross country and getting their seasons in. So shout out to both programs.
Absolutely.
And then to finish up our show, we have our HEHS Alum of the Week shout out, and that goes to my guy, 2017 semifinalist for football, 2018 grad, Mr. Jalen Alexander of Purdue University. Boiler up, baby. What a performance by our guy.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
All state receiver and linebacker for us back in our very memorable 2017 season. But the kid had 10 tackles, now leads the team, leads a Big Ten program in tackles. I know it's only after week 1, but holy cow, the confidence in that kid from just even last year is unbelievable to see. And, shout out to Coach Heisey. I know he was talking to him back and forth before and after the show or after the game. He just said exactly that. He's just so confident in the defense. And it was very cool to see, especially when you are watching the game with 3 or 4 Iowa alum who I am good friends with, and the trash talking that was going on during the game. And then obviously for me afterwards was awesome. So thank you, Jalen. Thank you, Coach Brom. And awesome performance by our Boilermakers, baby. Boiler up.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was awesome. And he's a junior, correct?
He is a junior.
He's a junior. So you were able to tell your buddies that, hey, the guy that's beating your team right now, I was coaching him a few years ago.
Yep. And the last game or the last play of the game, Iowa just kind of threw one up there, last second chance, and who none other than Jalen Alexander comes blitzing right through the middle and absolutely rocks the quarterback. Didn't have a chance. It was awesome.
0 chance. So, yeah, that's awesome. Congrats, Jalen, and we hope to see even bigger things the rest of the season. So
it's coming. The kid's locked in, focused, and ready to go. And then they got U of I this weekend too. So sorry, Tommy Moore. Jalen and the boys are coming for the Illini.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, baby. That'll do it for our show. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see what we got in store next week. Hopefully another great show. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our streaming through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and that'll do it.
That'll do it.
And as always, go Hawks, baby.
Let's do it.
Go Hawks!